Do you believe tarot cards can curse you, or that they only tell you what you want to hear? Think again. We're diving deep into the most pervasive tarot myths that have kept countless people from understanding this powerful ancient practice. Get ready to have your perception shattered and discover the real truth behind the cards. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tarot content just like this. Today we'll endeavor to smash those crystal ball clichés. Tarot isn't about predicting fixed futures, it's more like a mirror, and not a magic 8-ball. People use it to focus on self-reflection and understanding. Enough intro, let's get started with 5 common lies or myths people believe about tarot. Myth number 1. Tarot is evil or demonic. False. The origins of tarot cards trace back to the mid-15th century in Europe, specifically in Italy, where they were initially created as playing cards known as the Cards of Triumph. These early decks were used for a variety of games, particularly suited to the upper classes. The imagery on the cards combined religious, allegorical, and symbolic themes prevalent at the time. Over the centuries, these cards evolved beyond mere entertainment. By the 18th century, tarot began transitioning into a tool for divination and mysticism, especially influenced by occultists who attributed deeper esoteric meanings to the cards. This shift popularized tarot to gain insight into personal futures, psychological states, or spiritual guidance. Different traditions and interpretations developed, such as the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is widely used today and was first published in the early 20th century, the Thoth deck in the 1940s, and the Tarot de Marseille, which dates back to 17th and 18th century France. Thus, tarot cards have a dual heritage, originating as a card game and gradually evolving into a profound symbolic system used in spiritual and psychological contexts worldwide. Today they remain a bridge between art, history, and mysticism, drawing interest from scholars, enthusiasts, and spiritual seekers alike. How do some of the world's largest religions view tarot? Christianity often exhibits caution or outright opposition to tarot cards, primarily because many denominations associate tarot with occult practices, divination, and fortune-telling, which are generally condemned in the Bible, e.g., Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 10-12. However, some Christian mystics interpret tarot allegorically, seeing its archetypal imagery as reflective of the soul's spiritual journey toward God, and use it as a tool for meditation or personal insight, rather than divination. Nonetheless, mainstream Christianity tends to discourage its use due to concerns over occult associations. Judaism, particularly through Kabbalah, has historically influenced tarot symbolism, most notably the correspondence between tarot's major arcana and the Kabbalistic Tree of Life's 22 paths. However, traditional Jewish teachings generally do not endorse tarot divination, and the mystical traditions tend to be more about meditation and understanding divine principles rather than fortune-telling. Islam generally prohibits divination and related practices, including tarot reading, considering them incompatible with Islamic teachings that emphasize reliance solely on God's will, and the rejection of sorcery or fortune-telling. Thus, tarot is typically viewed negatively in Orthodox Islamic contexts. Neo-pagan and Wiccan traditions embrace tarot more openly. In these faiths, tarot is often integrated into spiritual practices as a sacred tool for divine communication, ritual work, and personal growth. The cards' symbolic language aligns well with themes of nature cycles, duality, and intuition, making tarot a respected method for spiritual exploration and connecting with elemental or divine forces. In sum, tarot is not a religion itself but a symbolic, interpretive system that has been influenced by and adapted within many spiritual and religious frameworks. While some faiths reject tarot outright due to its association with divination and the occult, others appreciate it as a meditative or reflective tool that complements personal spiritual journeys, provided its use aligns with individual beliefs and ethical boundaries. This diversity and acceptance underscores tarot's role as a cultural and spiritual mosaic, rather than a dogmatic religious practice. Lastly, intent matters. Intention is the heartbeat of tarot. When someone approaches a reading with a clear, sincere question or emotional openness, the cards often seem to mirror that energy, offering insights that feel deeply personal and relevant. But if the intent is vague, skeptical, or even manipulative, the interpretation can become muddled or superficial. Tarot isn't just about flipping cards and decoding symbols. It's a dialogue between the reader, the querent, and the unconscious. The cards act like a mirror, reflecting not just circumstances but the emotional and spiritual lens through which they're viewed. Myth number 2. You need special powers to read tarot. You don't need to be born under a blood moon or possess mystical superpowers to read tarot. What you do need is curiosity, intuition, and a willingness to learn. Despite its reputation for being shrouded in mystery, tarot is actually a skill that anyone can develop. Psychic ability isn't a requirement. In fact, intuition plays a far more important role. The more you practice tuning into your inner voice and connecting with the cards, the more naturally the interpretations begin to flow. It's like learning to read emotional subtext in a conversation. Subtle, but powerful. Tarot is essentially a symbolic language. Each card carries layers of meaning, from archetypal themes to emotional cues, and learning to interpret them is a bit like studying poetry or dream analysis. The Fool isn't just a carefree wanderer. It might represent new beginnings, naivety, or a leap of faith, depending on the context. With time and study, you begin to see how the cards interact with each other, how spreads tell stories, and how your own insights shape the reading. It's not about memorizing definitions, it's about learning to listen to the cards and trust your interpretation. For beginners, there's a wealth of resources to help you get started. Books like 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack or The Tarot Bible by Sarah Bartlett offer deep dives into card meanings and reading techniques. Online platforms like Biddy Tarot provide free guides and courses, while YouTube channels and tarot communities on Reddit or Discord offer real-time feedback and mentorship. If you're lucky enough to find a local reader or teacher, learning from someone experienced can be incredibly grounding. The key is to start somewhere and let your intuition lead the way. Myth number 3. Tarot spells doom and gloom. Tarot often gets a bad rap for being ominous or foreboding, especially when cards like death appear in a reading. But contrary to popular belief, the death card doesn't predict literal endings. It symbolizes transformation, renewal, and the shedding of old patterns. It's more like autumn than a funeral, a necessary release that makes space for new growth. In this light, so-called bad cards aren't warnings, they're invitations to evolve. Rather than fueling fear, tarot can be a powerful tool for personal growth. Each card, even the ones that seem dark or difficult, offers a mirror to our inner world. When we approach readings with openness, we begin to see challenges not as threats but as stepping stones. Tarot encourages us to ask deeper questions. What am I resisting? What needs to change? It's not about predicting doom, it's about illuminating the path forward. This insight is where tarot becomes truly empowering. By understanding the root of a problem, whether it's emotional, relational, or spiritual, we gain clarity and confidence to take action. A reading might reveal hidden dynamics or patterns we hadn't noticed, giving us the chance to respond with intention. In this way, tarot doesn't just reflect our reality, it helps reshape it. When used thoughtfully, it becomes a compass for growth, healing, and transformation. Myth number 4. Tarot cards can predict the future. Tarot isn't a crystal ball. It's more like a compass. While many people approach tarot expecting a glimpse into the future, its true power lies in offering perspective, not prophecy. The cards don't dictate what will happen, they illuminate what could happen, depending on the choices you make. It's a tool for reflection, not fortune-telling, and its magic comes from helping you see your own path more clearly. Each card in a tarot spread acts like a mirror, reflecting your current energies, challenges, and opportunities. Rather than saying, "This will happen," tarot asks, "What if?" It invites you to consider different outcomes, explore your motivations, and recognize patterns that might be influencing your decisions. In this way, tarot becomes a conversation with your inner wisdom, a way to tap into your intuition and gain clarity when life feels uncertain or overwhelming. Ultimately, tarot is about empowerment. When you understand the dynamics at play in your life, you're better equipped to make conscious, confident choices. The cards offer guidance, not guarantees, and that's what makes them so valuable. They remind you that the future isn't fixed. It's shaped by your actions, your mindset, and your willingness to grow. So instead of asking tarot what's going to happen to me, try asking, how can I move forward? That's where the real insight begins. Myth number 5. You must follow strict rules when reading tarot. One of the most liberating truths about tarot is that you don't have to follow a rigid set of rules to read the cards effectively. While traditional spreads and interpretations can be helpful, they're not mandatory. Tarot is a deeply personal practice, and the way you connect with the cards should reflect your own style, intuition, and intentions. Some readers prefer the classic Celtic cross spread, while others might pull just one card a day, or invent their own layouts based on the question at hand. There's no tarot police, just your inner guide. In fact, the most meaningful readings often come from breaking the mold. Maybe you don't shuffle the deck in a prescribed way, or maybe you interpret the cards based on imagery and emotion, rather than textbook definitions. That's perfectly valid. Tarot is a conversation, not a script. The cards are tools, not commandments, and they're meant to support your intuition, not override it. The more you trust your instincts and let go of shoulds, the more authentic and insightful your readings become. This flexibility is what makes tarot so accessible and empowering. You can start with a guidebook and gradually evolve your own approach, or dive in intuitively from the beginning. Whether you read for yourself, for friends, or just for fun, the only real rule is to stay open and curious. Tarot isn't about perfection, it's about connection. So if a card speaks to you in a way that's different from its traditional meaning, listen. That's where the magic lives. And there you have it, 5 tarot lies officially debunked. If you've ever felt judged, intimidated, or boxed in by these myths, I hope this video gave you permission to breathe deeper into your own truth. Tarot isn't evil. It's a mirror. You don't need powers, just presence. It's not doom and gloom, it's depth. It doesn't predict the future, it helps you shape it. And rules. You get to write your own. If this resonated, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more tarot truth-telling, and drop a comment below. Which myth did you used to believe, and what shifted for you? Until next time, trust your intuition, shuffle with intention, and remember, the real magic is already within you.